So Life by You has been cancelled again. Is this the third time, the fourth time? I'm not quite sure. I believe Life by You was originally supposed to be released in early access sometime around September last year, I believe, which feels crazy to me, seeming that they're literally delaying it again. You guys know I've already played Life by You, and that's because I did an early access video, I did a YouTube short, and I also had some more exciting plans for Life by You that I really wanted to share with you, but now I can't, sorry. Based on everything that I shared with you in my original YouTube short, there were definitely a lot of positives. For example, I told you guys in the short I love the realism because there's no rabbit holes anywhere. Like, you basically go everywhere and you do everything. Like, it is very immersive. And another thing that I mentioned, which was that you can basically create your entire character's backstory in the create a character mode. I'm not just talking about the traits, but you can give them like background traits. Like, there's a lot to it, and you can set their wealth status from the beginning. You can just set their job so you can just jump straight into gameplay. Like, it was really cool. And obviously there's a lot more information that I'm sure you guys have seen from their original teasers and original videos that they've been uploading on the Life by You channel. Recently they've uploaded a video series, I believe in preparation for the release. I'm assuming that's what it was, where certain content creators, I think Fake Gamer Girl did a video, as well as a couple other creators, where they were talking about Life by You and giving kind of in-game tutorials. So it seems like they were really prepping for this release, which was supposed to be June the 4th, I believe. And obviously it's gone to shit. I say it's gone to shit. That was bad wording. Yes, it was. Honestly, I think it's a really good thing. And the reason why I think it's a good thing is because they're making sure it's extra ready. All the time we are seeing video game publishers just publishing games way too early, way too soon than they actually need to be. As a result, they get a lot of bad press. Now, another Paradox game is City Skylines 2, and it's very important that we talk about this. Different developer, but it's published by Paradox just as Life by You is. So City Skylines is an incredible building simulator, city building simulator, exactly like SimCity. Unfortunately, City Skylines 2 was released in a massive rush, and as a result, the player base plummeted for that game to basically nothing. And they released some statements saying, we're so sorry, we're going to do free updates as the game goes along, blah, blah, blah. And then they released a paid DLC, a paid for DLC content called Beach Properties. And that one was also rushed and not ready, and it went to shit, and it made the player base feel even more sour about the game. It made players resent City Skylines 2 even more, and the player base plummeted even more after the Beach Properties DLC. So it was like they hadn't learnt their lesson, and after apologizing for releasing the base game early, they then released DLC way too early. This has obviously had a massive negative impact on them, on the developers, on the players, on the shareholders, everybody. Releasing games too early causes your game to go to shit. This is something that most video game publishers don't seem to understand, and they commit the same mistake again and again. Paradox seem like they're trying to take some accountability. So they've stated that City Skylines 2 will apparently not get any more DLC now until 2025, and they're just focusing on making the base game good. Although most players haven't forgiven them, even a lot of City Skylines YouTubers have literally moved on to other games, either fully or partially, which is literally insane. Because when you think of The Sims, for example, every single Sims game, every single Sims pack is rushed to release. Every single Sims pack is severely broken. The Sims 4 base game is severely broken, but EA don't really care. That's because people will just purchase the packs anyway, because you all have addictions problems to Sims 4 DLC. Yes, you do. But obviously, when a brand new life simulation game comes along, obviously they haven't built up that audience yet or love for a franchise yet. So there's a lot less trust there, and obviously a lot less objective popularity, so they have to be more careful. My personal assumption is, based on what's going on with City Skylines, Paradox are trying to save their games. This is what I assume anyway. Seeing the fact that City Skylines 2 is dwindling really, really hard, they obviously don't want that for any other game published by Paradox. So they obviously, I'm saying like obviously, I'm just assuming because I don't don't know. They gave me early access, as you guys know, but I genuinely don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So I'm assuming that Paradox had a look at Life by You and they thought, nope, this is not ready for release. So we've got some sorting out to do. Interestingly, though, this time they haven't actually given it a date to being pushed back to. Normally when video games get delayed, they give you a date until when it's going to be ready. And they've already done that 2 or 3 times with Life by You. And obviously this time they're like, no, we're not even giving you a date. It's ready when it's ready. Which, do you know what? Fair enough. I feel like more video game developers need to just be given a lot of time to develop their games without being given release dates. I feel like that would work for the majority of video games. I feel like it would be much better for consumers as well because they don't get let down. If it's delayed, consumers are pissed. If it's released too early, consumers are pissed. So honestly, I think it's genuinely a good move. Obviously, it's disappointing not being able to get Life by You now, but I genuinely think it's a positive step forward that I think a lot of other video game publishers need to be paying attention to. I really can't stand rush games. Like, you guys, if you guys follow me on Instagram, you know that I'm like a big Pokemon nerd. Like, I'm obsessed with Pokemon. I refuse to play the latest Pokemon game, Scarlet and Violet, because it's shite, because it was rushed to release and just so undeveloped. Like, I'm at the stage now where if a game is rushed, however much I like the franchise, I'm not playing it. Outside of the Sims community, there has been a lot of news of a big video gaming crash. Microsoft have recently closed a lot of their, Xbox gaming studios, whatever. A lot of video game developers are losing their jobs. Video games aren't making enough money because they cost too much to develop, but then they don't see the return, especially considering that everything was released early and sloppily. There's basically this whole big video game crash going on in the general video gaming industry, and there's been a lot of talk about a great reset where there may be a chance in the near future that we won't receive a lot of brand new video games for a while because they're having to play catch up and things. It's all very interesting, but obviously in terms of where Life by You is concerned, that means that we have to wait longer for a hopefully better game. There are definitely a lot of very apparent issues that we've seen with Life by You by the videos that they've published on their channels. One of the biggest things for me, and I know for you guys too, is the way that it looks. It's very dark. This is something that I hear a lot of people say, very dark and weird shading. And the biggest thing I think people talk about is the character models looking really weird. I don't know what it is. I think it's definitely the shoulders. They're very cinched in, I've noticed, and they seem to have very weird skeletons. I don't know how video gaming works, but I know when they create characters in games, they have like a skeleton, like polymer model thing, and it seems like the skeletal model's very strange. Like the shoulders, they come out like very horizontally and weird. It's very strange. Also, I've said before in a few videos, like, what actually is Life by You? Like, we know it's a life simulation game, but what is it? Like, what's its vibe? Every single major popular game I've ever played in any genre has a vibe, and I just feel like Life by You, it doesn't really have a vibe. It's got a lot of great features. There's a lot of things in Life by You that genuinely really impress me, which I think look amazing. But obviously video games have to have a purpose to exist. Even The Sims, like, aside from The Sims 4, which is a bit of a train wreck, every single Sims game has always had its thing where it's like, it's really, really naughty. It's really, really chaotic. It's very dark with the way that you can kill your Sims. It almost feels like a big psychological experiment. It's got its kind of quirky humor, like, oh, I've got to put that down. The Sims has got its thing. Animal Crossing, I know you think it's not a life simulation game, but it is. Animal Crossing New Horizons most definitely has its own thing, which is very obvious and apparent. Paralives, even though it's not released yet, I feel like it's done a really great job of developing what its thing is, especially with the way the artwork is and the sound design that they've used, the soundtracks, the type of gameplay they're talking about. It seems like a really cozy, chilled vibe. When I look at Life by You, I genuinely don't know what its vibe is. I think think there's a big difference between a collection of life simulation gaming features versus a life sim game as a whole. So I would like to see Life by You take a little bit more identity with the way it looks, with its graphics, with sound design, with story and lore, with gameplay, with everything. They do a lot of updates. I don't think I've ever followed a video game that gets like this many updates all the time. So maybe it'll be good for them to take a step back, although it's probably very disappointing to hear that they're taking a step back. We of course have some other life simulation games in development, and I did a little comparison video lately talking about the pros and cons of each and what I'm excited about and not excited about for all of the upcoming ones. So make sure you check that video out. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next one.